Hello, eavesdroppers. Welcome back to another pop culture tarot reading. I hope you all are feeling like $1,000,000. On today's episode, we are going to look into the very tragic parallels between the Nolan Wells and the Emmett Till cases and how this impacted Miss Mamie Till Mobley in a similar way to the way it impacted is impacting Miss Christine Wells Wonsley. People are pointing out that they even look alike. Okay, there's a resemblance between the two mothers. We're going to look into what's the spiritual significance of this. Okay, so history repeats itself. Two mothers, one tragic story. The tragic parallels between Christine Wells Wonsley and Mamie Till. Spirit messages. The ancestors are speaking. This will be the untold connection in their tragic losses. In this profound and spirit-led tarot session, we look deeply into the chilling historical echoes and tragic parallels that connect two devastating stories across different generations. History has a heavy way of repeating itself, and today, the cards serve as a bridge to explore the shared grief, the strength, the enduring legacy of two mothers bound by an unimaginable loss. We are looking into the powerful symbolic connections surrounding Christine Wells Wonsley, the mother of Nolan Wells, and Mamie Till, the heroic mother of Emmett Till. Both of these women were forced to face the ultimate tragedy, losing their beloved sons, under circumstances that shook communities to their very core. Through this intuitive reading, we tap into the collective ancestral energy, honoring the voices that still speak to us today. This session is not just a look at the past, but an examination of the systemic patterns, spiritual weight, and emotional endurance carried by mothers who refuse to let their sons be forgotten. We will examine what the universe is revealing about these historical mirrors, the ongoing fight for truth, and the spiritual messages left behind for those who are willing to listen. So whether you are here for the historical reflection or the spiritual guidance or deeper understanding of how the past continues to shape our present reality, this reading offers a respectful, intense, and eye-opening perspective on a narrative that must be heard. So sit back, open your mind, and let's see what the collective energy reveals. We have some questions here we're going to look into, specific questions that I have. So when it comes to this reading, these tarot cards are going to be a mirror for the systemic grief and maternal resistance, offering a powerful framework to explore the parallels between Christine Wells Wonsley and Mamie Till Mobley. So in July 2026, the public heavily mirrored their experiences after the 18-year-old Nolan Wells died following a Mississippi boat trip, echoing how Mamie Till Mobley's son, Emmett Till, was lost to Mississippi violence in 1955. So these questions are organized by themes to guide a deep intuitive reading focused on grief, ancestral echoes, and the fight for justice. The ancestral echoes and the cyclical time. So public commentary has noted a striking, heartbreaking temporal mirror. Emmett Till was born in July and died in August, while Nolan was born in August and died in July. What ancestral patterns or cyclical burdens are being uncovered by these inverted timelines? So let's see what's going on with that. Why do these energies mirror so much? Why is history repeating itself? What are these patterns all about? We have a boat trip. Wow, the first card out is a boat trip. We have secure. This could have a lot to do with the transatlantic slave trade. I feel like this may be residuals, ancestral karma, ancestral unfinished business here. I feel like this is a spiritual. I feel like the water is spiritual. It carries energy. It holds memories. And I feel like this is the energy of a reincarnation, so to speak. I feel like this was a chance to come back and right the wrong. And on the side of the perpetrator, they failed this karmic test. This was a chance to right the wrong of history, and they repeated it. Show me more. We have malicious intent. There are hidden motives and agendas, bad intentions. We have the Five of Swords here. This is a history of violence. This is a visceral disdain for someone. Talks about the racism, the racial component of this, if there is in fact one. Everything I say in this reading is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. I have no proof, so take it with a grain of salt. But this is about being obsessed with causing someone else's destruction, premeditated moves, hostility, ruthlessness, calculated, cruel bullying, cold-hearted violence, winning at all costs, and the ends justify the means. This is a karmic tale as old as time. These energies keep reincarnating. These are tests. Will you get it right this time? They failed again. We have a new phase, the world. Again, this is playing out in the 3D. It's playing out in the world for the world to see. This is a cycle that is looking for closure, but there's this loophole. There's a loop that keeps happening because the lesson is not being learned. And this is something that's being shown in front of the world because the lesson has to be learned so that we can teach younger generations, so that when these souls reincarnate again, they understand not to perpetuate the same cycle. We have a dummy mission. Crashing out for no good reason, self-sabotage, fighting a losing battle, pressed, mad for nothing, one-sided competition in battle. So this is only one side. And we can draw conclusions as to what side that is that keeps this perpetually going on. We have rinse and repeat, tired of the same shit, different day. The runaround, patterns, cycles, monotony, and emotional roller coaster. That's what I said, there's a loop here. So we are collectively not learning the lesson. It's pointing out the softness of the mothers here. The fact that they are unselfish, they're giving, they're pleasers. And there's an energy, like I always say in my readings, that seeks to suppress that goodness, that light, that happiness. It says that someone is stark raving mad, the Five of Swords. Venus in Aquarius, wildly insane. Lunatic, hostile, ruthless win, having a meltdown, melodrama, conflict, losing your mind games, cutthroat, sore loser, tit-for-tat, and intimidation. So this is an intimidation factor, and it continues to carry on for lifetimes. It keeps coming back. It keeps reincarnating because people are not learning the karmic and cosmic lesson here. We have a spring reset, the Fool, and we have green with envy. So again, competition, jealousy, drama. There's an energy here of a fight, a battle for position, for authority, for power, and it's only one-sided. But the Fool here is bringing in a reset. It's time for us to start over. So again, this energy comes out as the world. It comes out as the Fool. This is the beginning of the Fool's journey and the end of the Fool's journey, the foolish behaviors. This energy keeps recycling back to the planet to heal, and yet it keeps falling short. The next question. How does the spirit of Mamie Till Mobley act as a spiritual guide or anchor for Christine Wonsley right now? So what does Miss Mamie have in the way of advice for Miss Christine? It says here that she's up for the challenge. It says she's free-spirited, she's fearless, she's a go-getter, she's confident, she's a risk-taker, she's a competitor, and she's a thrill-seeker. Christine, she's telling her to fight. You're up for this challenge. You were chosen for this. God gives his hardest battle to his strongest soldiers. So you are equipped to handle this. Don't quit. Don't stop. You're a freedom fighter. We have classy lady, the Empress. So she's speaking to her from a mother to a mother. She's saying you are a class act. You are divine feminine. You are every woman. You are sophisticated. You're the kind of woman that everyone respects. Taurus and Libra energy. So she's speaking to her from mother to mother. She's putting out a karmic soulmate. And she's pointing out by the same token, she says at the same time. So she's saying we have similarities. She says that we are akin in some way energetically. She said we are here for the same reason. We were chosen for the same reason. We know that we can handle this. We are able to adapt. We are able to be flexible. Two of Pentacles energy, Jupiter and Capricorn. She said keep your head above water. She's saying here that you are chosen to do this because you know how to handle it. And she's saying this is karmic. These children are connecting to karmic soulmates. All right, she says the Fool here. She says take a risk, take a gamble. She says luck is on your side, even though it feels uncertain and there feels like no guarantee here. She said you will get the last laugh. You will see their downfall. This is earned karma and poetic justice. What else does she have for Miss Christine? She said you need assistance, ask for help if necessary. Charity, generosity, support in a time of need, looking for a handout and asking for a favor. She says execute Use what you got to get what you want. Go for it. Be confident. She's telling her to lead by example. You are not chosen for this by accident. This is a pre-birth contract. This is pre-birth destiny here. None of this is accidental. None of it is coincidental. Two more messages. She says, you are a lifesaver, the King of Cups. You are a guardian angel. You are a spirit guide. You have saving grace, mercy, a bodyguard, a caretaker, benevolence, favor, generosity, rock, support, and someone who values you. She's pointing out that there are spirit guides and guardian angels all around Christine. She's also pointing out the masculine here, the father figure. She says you're Boaz, the husband, the divine masculine, the other half, the person that she's married to. She says this is your divine consort. So she's saying them as the emperor, the emperor. She's saying you two were chosen for this. This is definitely cosmic and karmic. Next question. Which card represents the heavy historical continuity of the Mississippi landscape for Black mothers? We have inauthentic and we have bad timing. Loss of momentum, unfinished business, delays and frustration, inaction and blockages. Things not going according to plan. So there's something here about the inauthentic energy in that particular locale. And there's something here about blockages, barriers to justice and freedom. We have a push and pull. There's a back and forth. There is a power struggle and a tug of war. There's friction, showing interest 1 minute and then pulling away and mixed signals. We have deal or no deal, strong boundaries, an ultimatum, questioning where you stand with someone, negotiating, drawing a line in the sand, demanding answers and clarity. So this is what these women were chosen for, to fight, to advocate, to stand up for their sons, their daughters, their community. But there's a back and forth. There's a power struggle here. This is spiritual warfare. Two more. We have all eyes on you. 6 of Wands, Jupiter and Leo. And we have couch rot, laziness, inactivity, stuck in the house, low energy, depression, loneliness, a form of self-care or lethargy. Okay, so it says here they are the center of attention. They are chosen for this moment. They are chosen for this magnitude of a trial, a test. It feels very heavy, but this is to get people out in the streets, to advocate, to speak up so that this cycle does stop, so that we do change the trajectory of the culture there in Mississippi. What does the tarot reveal about the intergenerational trauma being carried and disrupted by this current fight for answers? So what does the tarot reveal about the intergenerational trauma here? Okay, we have shared custody. We have peaceful co-parenting, splitting time between homes, and legal disputes over custody and power struggle. This feels like an actual battle over the land. We know historically Mississippi is a Black town. We know that the United States of America was predominantly Black initially before it was conquered. Okay, debate your mama, because that's the reality. Okay, so we have Fix It Jesus, the Wheel of Fortune. So again, this is karmic and cosmic. It says to go with the flow. The situation in question is in God's hands and out of your control. What will be. Accept what God allows and don't resist. This is destiny and fate. Like I said, this has to play out until the karma is healed, until the karma is cleared. Okay. So the weaponization of the grief and the institutional distrust. Both mothers face a wall of institutional silence and a lack of transparency from local authorities, prompting both families to seek independent verification, such as the Wells family commissioning an independent autopsy. So how can Christine protect her own energetic peace while confronting a legal system that requires her to perform her grief for transparency? Wow, that is heavy. How can she protect her own energy here? We have the Empress again. She's tapping into her divine feminine energy. She's divine feminine. She's high value. She's beautiful. She's desirable. She's graceful. She is altruistic. It is her loving nature as a mother. It's telling her to continue to smile, to walk with her head up. It says to crawl before you walk. Temperance energy, Sagittarius energy is telling her to move at her own pace. Slow and steady wins the race. Do things in moderation and baby steps. Be willing to wait. And you may get slow progress, but slow progress beats no progress. How can she protect her energy? We have divination spying. There are people getting readings, attempting to look into her Akashic records, doing readings on them, ODing on tarot to figure her out. There are a lot of people pulling on this family's energy right now, myself included. I do it in love and light and with the ultimate respect. Telling her that she needs to take a trip here. She needs a short trip. She needs to put a little distance between herself and the case for just a short moment. Something requires a little bit of effort here, a destination or a goal that is close by in the near future. Is not an inconvenience and it won't put you out of your way. So again, she was designed for this. She was chosen for this. As unfair as it may seem, she has the Seven of Wands. It says that she has a fighting spirit. She has the courage of her convictions. She's standing her ground. She's stubborn and unapologetic in her quest for justice for her son. But she does feel like she's up against it in the Seven of Wands. She feels like she's backed into a corner, which is why she may need to step away for a couple of days, a weekend, and just clear her mind with her husband, her children. Okay, so what card represents the hidden truths being masked by institutional delays and official narratives? We have get tested. She needs to get tested. I also want to say, when it comes to these missing body parts, when when his remains are sent to, if and when they are sent to the second medical examiner, they need to test the DNA to make sure that they are in fact his bodily organs, because I feel like they may send someone else's. And also, the people in Mississippi, keep a watch over your children because they may sacrifice someone else to get the body parts to cover their tracks, allegedly. So what's been hidden by the institutions here? We have the magician here. Yeah, so they're trying to make something disappear. We have judgment and we have phantom. We have the illusionist, disappearing acts, fictional characters, figment of your imagination, wishful thinking. The ghoster, here today, gone tomorrow, wishy-washy, fickle, and unreliable. So the information here is unreliable. The judgment card is here. So this is definitely spiritual. There will be karma for this. Period. There will be karma for this. It says something is under review, but we need to go through it with a fine-tooth comb, okay? We have earth magic, Page of Pentacles, and we have the conjuring, root work, divination, manifestation, and alchemy, hoodoo, the Page of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And we also have working with powerful deities, ancestors, and guides, manifesting and alchemy. So this is what these people are doing. They're working with dark energies, deities, and black magic to keep this from being unearthed. Whatever they buried here, allegedly. What is the spiritual purpose of the independent measures, the autopsies, the outside legal aid taken by these mothers to bypass local power structures? We have ouch, because it's hurt, because they're heartbroken. They're in pain, the Three of Swords. Saturn and Libra, they're depressed, they're grieving, they feel betrayed. They feel like there are multiple parties working against them. This is crushing to the soul, to the heart. We have something here that's recorded. Videos, pictures, information being leaked, the media. And this is also about getting justice. But they feel like this is compromised information that's not coming out. It's in the wrong hands. We have moon magic, and we have an old flame. Ritualistic practices, love spells, and spell work, so they know that they are facing spell work. Dark magic. This is a return of energy that once was. It's coming back. It's reminiscent of past energy. So this energy, again, is going to keep burning this country until this world, until the lesson is learned. How can the tarot guide Christine in navigating the hate mail and public noise while remaining centered on her son's memory? Says people are stuck on her, they can't let her go. It's telling her to be the voice of reason, the Queen of Swords, Libra energy, to be fair, to be level-headed, to be head over heart, to stand up for herself and set boundaries but tell the truth. Okay, this is her spirit of discernment speaking to her. She has wisdom, she's discerning, she's intuitive, she's psychic, she's being guided. There's a father figure showing up here, someone who's supportive, her rock, a leader, a diplomat. So she's being emotionally stable, intelligent, mature, and she's continuing to show up. So she's not being shaken by the storm. She's stable, she's calm in the midst of a storm. The chaos going on around her, she's regulating her emotions and staying ahead of it by keeping her mind sound. She says that information is spreading from one person to another and it's going quickly. And she says there's a lot of sharing of misinformation here. She feels like things are backwards right now. She feels like this is a reversal of fortune. This is bad luck or bad karma. She feels a lot of misfortune. She feels like he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. She feels like she wasn't chosen for this, but she was. So she's very resistant to the idea that this was her path in life. But it, in fact, was a pre-birth agreement that she made, that Nolan made. So when it comes to the choice of visibility, the public crusade versus private mourning, while Mamie Till Mobley famously chose radically to show her son in an open casket, Christine Wells has utilized press conferences and legal petitions to demand answers while maintaining a baseline of personal privacy. How do the cards contrast Mamie's weaponization of the open casket while Christine's choice to channel her energy into estate actions and legal blockages? So one chose to leave the casket open to show America its ugliness, and the other chose not to, for dignity purposes regarding her son. We have classy, class act, dignity, couth, tact, taking the high road, and diplomatic. So when it comes to Christine, she felt like this was a way that she could protect her baby. She wasn't able to do it in his last moments of life, but she said, "I'll be damned if you'll look at my son as a victim. This story will have a victorious ending, and I'm going to make sure of it." We have coming clean, the Seven of Swords, Aquarius, moon in reverse. So this is rethinking past behavior and feeling convicted. I do believe there was a moment where Christine actually thought about showing these people their dirty deeds, what they did to her son. But this was a last-ditch effort as a mother. The last way I can honor my son. She did not want her son to be remembered that way. She hates that she maybe had to see him that way. She's pointing out a party at a mansion, and there was some video that circulated or picture that circulated with Nolan at a pool party at someone's home. It says attending a major event, hosting an event, rubbing shoulders with the wealthy, red carpet, black tie affair and ceremony. She may end up coming out to speak at some major awards show or some kind of ceremony. We may see her at the podium. She's pointing out the solar return, Leo energy. Okay, Nolan was a Leo. Happy birthday energy, vitality, another trip around the sun, new blood, the first birthday, baby, pregnancy, your happy place, and success. So again, she wanted to protect her son. She wanted to have everyone to remember him in a positive light. Okay, when it comes to the card that represents the protective boundary that Christine must draw around her surviving children and family, what do we get here? How does she protect them? It says God is pleased with her heart and the heart behind her act. She has very good karma here. It's a balancing act. She has the Two of Pentacles. She's loving her children out loud. I went down her social media, her TikTok. She didn't have any pictures of her children even prior to Nolan's untimely demise. She's very protective over her children. She will continue to be. It says she is dating or married to someone who is loyal, faithful, and proud to have her on their arm. Her husband is emotionally available and present and intelligent. He's her rock, her support system, and her shoulder to cry on. She is dealing with a man of his word. He's devoted, and he shows up for her. So this will be something that they do as a couple. They will continue to protect their children. Her husband is her strength. She doesn't want them exploited. She doesn't want them manipulated. She doesn't want them infatuated or obsessed with this case. She's pointing out a green or yellow vehicle. There could be someone following her. She may need to keep an eye out for a green or yellow vehicle. It says here she's learned a lesson the hard way, but she's handling it with grace, class, and tact. She's keeping her cool, her poise, and her composure. She's being graceful, and she has decorum. She's the Temperance card, Sagittarius energy. I wonder if she's a Sagittarius. All right, she says that people are editing the story and they are remixing the truth, changing the narrative and lying. She's pointing out a high-profile, wealthy couple, and her phone is tapped. She doesn't feel very safe. She may end up moving at some point once this is all said and done and she gets her answers. She's pointing out a financially stable and deeply established power couple. Same couple that keeps coming out and Nolan's readings. These people are excelling and building an empire, managing wealth and providing for their family together, creating a legacy, longevity, stable on a firm foundation, and business partners. This could also be her and her husband. This is the Queen and King of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, the Earth's duo. Okay, how does the massive national attention amplified by civil rights figures serve the spiritual legacy of Nolan Wells? How does this serve his legacy? Okay, so the energies, it has a lot to do with the legacy of even Emmett Till here. So this energy is somehow tied to Emmett Till's story. It's pointing out envy and jealousy, and the comparison is the thief of joy. When it comes to the national attention, the massive attention that's being amplified by the civil rights leaders and attorneys around her, the spiritual legacy here is that they're being used to bait people. And this is not a negative thing. They're using their power, their influence to bring national attention to this, because otherwise it will slip through the cracks. The same way Mamie Till had to depend on her own community to help get answers to the situation, and she never got justice for her son, unfortunately. But this is saying that we are all, on some level, still being baited into this racial battle with one another. It's saying that comparison is the thief of joy. Envy and jealousy, competition, a measuring stick, a litmus test, pitting one against the other, rivalry, one-upping each other, worrying about being outdone, or shown up by someone. It says that eyes are on everyone else's plate. Run your race with blinders on. So again, this feels like not something that she would have chosen, but she feels compelled to use these mediums because she can't get answers. Okay. So the next question, what lesson does the tarot offer on balancing the exhausting role of a public advocate with the human need to simply be a grieving mother, which is very unfair? All right, and we have what you desire will soon manifest. It is rapidly approaching. She just wants answers, and she feels like she has to make the sacrifice right now. She says she's been living under a rock, okay? She hasn't been abreast of the time. She had outdated beliefs and concepts about the world. And we talked about this in a previous reading about his parents, the idea of not discussing race, not seeing color, how unhealthy that is. Being out of the loop, being out of touch with reality and clueless. And she feels like this kind of hit her like a ton of bricks. So she's trying to find that happy medium in the balancing act here. Okay, so she's using resources at her disposal. She feels like she has a lot of support around her. She feels like she's going through trials and tribulations right now. She's trying not to lose it. She's dealing with a lot of grief. And she's trying to keep composure here. But there's something that she keeps replaying in her head. There's a snapshot. It could be the image of her son's lifeless body. There's a snapshot she keeps replaying in her head that gives her the motivation. She knows she has to get justice for him. So what is the lesson of the balancing act between public advocate and grieving mother? We have Till. Okay, this is the Queen of Cups. This is about being nice, kind, friendly, gentle, pretty, open-hearted, caring, compassionate, decent, peaceful, having a good temperament, forgiveness, and supportive. She's the mother. And then we have on the edge of your seat. So she has a lot of anticipation. She's eager. She's confident that they're going to get answers, but she feels like she's patiently waiting for her ships to come in. She's thinking about the growth and the expansion and the momentum and the progress of the case with her advocating for her son. It is her love for her son that is motivating her. She's saying, I don't have time to grieve right now. I have to get some justice for my son. So the legacy of the sons, when it comes to the tarot, can also shift the focus back to the light the young men brought to their mothers before their transitions. What card encapsulates Nolan's gentle, joyful essence and his stated dreams of future fatherhood? We have the Six of Wands. This is a perfect card to come out for his energy. The card that encapsulates his energy is the Six of Wands. Leo energy. He was a Leo. And this is Jupiter in Leo. He's born on August the 9th. This card runs from August the 1st through about August the 10th. This is literally his card. He was meant to be in the spotlight. He's pointing out he was going to be famous one way or another. He also feels like he's very impressed with the support and the feedback from the public, people advocating for him. He is very proud. He's proud of his mother, his community, the world at large. He feels like he's the center of attention right now, and he is. He feels like he's trending. He feels like he's a viral moment. This is not the way he would have chosen to be, but he also is acknowledging he was his mother's pride and joy. He was always popular. He was destined for victory and success, and he had privilege, pretty privilege. That's a beautiful card to come out for him. The card is yellow. Yellow, a lot of yellow in the card for the sun. Okay, we have the smoking gun here. So the card that encapsulates his gentle, joyful essence is proof. Irrefutable evidence, corroboration, forensics, telltale signs, and paper trail. Again, Nolan left something behind to give people clues as to what happened to him. The window of opportunity may be missed here. The DNA, what's going on with the DNA? Did they check under the fingernails? Did they even probe these people? Did they check the boat? Are they looking into these things? Phone forensics. He wants justice. How do the spirits of Nolan and Emmett want their mothers to celebrate their lives outside of the tragedies that claim them? Okay, we have the Six of Swords. They want them to move on. They want them to heal. They want them to be in a period of recovery with the Six of Swords. Mercury and Aquarius. They want to give them spiritual support here. Egg them on from the spirit realm. Now, obviously, Mamie Till has gone on to join her son. But prior to her leaving here, this is what he wanted for her. We have pulling the plug, calling it quits, ending something, life and death decisions, taking someone off of life support. Interesting. I feel like that's saying no longer to feed this system with our pain, our tears, our suffering. We have to find a way to empower ourselves. The spirit guides are here. The spirit realm is here. The ancestors are here supporting. We have results, and we have co-opted. They're pointing out a destiny swapping energy, siphoning your energy. Again, like I said, energy harvesting. They don't want us collectively or their mothers, in past tense for Mamie Till, to feed the system their energy, because this is some kind of psyop. Again, this doesn't mean that Nolan is not here. It doesn't mean that what happened to him is any less real. But they're saying here, take your power back. All of you, take your power back. You're going to get results by pulling the plug on the system. Okay, so what is the ultimate message of the hope or justice that Nolan wants to transmit to his mother right now? What message would he have for her? That she's untouchable. Okay, he's also saying here that she may be getting some bad advice. He says that there are people butting in with their opinions. He wants her to know that she should not be affected by the criticism, the judgment. He says, who asked you? Who asked you? Why are you bothering my mother? My mother is a boss. She's in control. She's dominant. She's powerful. She has power around her, law and order and authorities around her. So he wants her to know she's untouchable by these opinions. He says that he wants her to know that he has a premonition of something that's going to happen here. The cat will come out of the bag. Something will be exposed. There will be some degree of justice. Maybe not to the degree that we want. There's a Gemini person, a Libra, or an Aquarius person who will be significant in breaking this case. Remember, I told you that. It's a masculine energy. He's pointing out some memories, some nostalgia, some pictures that he wants her to look at. He says, I know that, it feels like I've ghosted you, that I've cut you off without warning, and that I just kind of disappeared. But look at the memories. Hold on to me from the happy times. Keep reflecting. Okay, he says, surround yourself with people who are there for you, who are participating in this quest for justice. He's pointing out the collective. He says it's an all hands on deck, takes a village kind of energy here. There's strength in numbers. Teamwork makes the dream work. He's telling her to collaborate over competing, to cooperate, to use massive family units and foundations and wealth to benefit her right now. Generational wealth is showing up here. It says a large family is significant. A thriving household, domestic life, or managing resources, stretching the budget. He's talking about the balancing act of providing for many people all at once, but he doesn't want her to forget herself in the in the midst of this. He wants her to make sure she prioritizes herself. Lean on the family, lean on the community. There are so many people all over the world supporting you, Mom. Lean on these people. He wants her to use her social media to network with other people. She's going to start to become an advocate. He says she's contemplating something. She's being introspective. He says she's shaken and stirred right now, the Three of Cups. He's telling her that he wants her to enjoy her life, to be happy, to be social, to celebrate. He even wants her to celebrate him. She's thinking about doing something to celebrate him, and he's saying, I love that. I love that idea. He said there will be an offer on the table, and there's some kind of documents, a formal document or agreement that's going to be signed, sealed, and delivered with an offer. That could be a lawsuit. That could be a settlement. He says it's a legally binding contract and paperwork. Authentication process completed, notarized, witnessed, fully executed about property, law, or deeds. Okay? So he's saying that there's some kind of paperwork here, an offer will be made, and I feel like it may be some kind of settlement. I'm hoping that she won't have to go under a gag order where she cannot speak about whatever she finds. He said someone will be on the witness stand, but it's conditional. He said his life had a purpose. He said that he was in alignment with his divine assignment and he had a soul agreement to carry this out. It says your one true love is making their way to you or recently has surfaced in your life. He's telling her to love on his father. He's pointing out a yacht. Okay, I don't know what is going on with the energy around this case with something to do with sex tourism, but it's here again. This is the third time it's come out in one of his readings. So I don't think that has anything to do with his mother, but I'm wondering what those other people are into on these votes. He keeps putting out votes. He's telling her that Rome wasn't built in a day. He's telling her to move slow and steady, to pay attention to the details, to avoid procrastination, but be diligent and see it through. Be meticulous, methodical, routine, and perfectionism. And he says there's an obstruction of justice here, a miscarriage of justice, bias, unfairness, draconian laws, reasonable doubt, publicity stunt, getting away with a crime, impunity, tampering with evidence, impeding on someone else's due process, and acting above the law. And he said there's a lot of filibustering going on here, Taurus energy, a diversion tactic, political maneuvering and strategy, bureaucracy, red tape, and endless debate. Being contrary, delays, and the rotating villain theory. He's pointing out his father, again, her husband, the lovers, the Two of Cups here. He's telling them to be objective, to be head over heart, to be logical. And he's also pointing out a King of Swords will be able to look at this case and bring some sort of justice here. All right, let me clean up my table and see what else he wants to say. Nolan, is there anything else you want to say about your case, about your mom, about Emmett Till, about the correlations and the parallels between your mom and Emmett's mom? He said there are shifts taking place, and we cannot be lazy. This calls for all hands on deck. Everybody has to participate. We can no longer be on the sidelines here. He said they're waging war, and we can't sit by idly and let it happen. He says heaven is at hand, paradise, bliss, nirvana, utopia, and hereafter. He's saying, look, don't be caught up in the world. The world is lying to you. Your eyes are deceiving you. There's beautiful things to come. He says the physical body and the flesh. There's just an occurrence here that happened with the physical body and the flesh, but he's in heaven. He says the cause for alarm. Receipts. Okay, so there are some receipts that exist out there that will be a cause for alarm that people are suppressing. He said there is a correlation on the planet here. He's pointing out star seeds. He's saying they are star seeds. This is why their lives were cut short. He said there's an entity that's insufficient and wicked from the past that's causing this. What do you want to say about this entity, Nolan? He said it's extraterrestrial. Wow. And it's non-compliant. So he's saying don't give into it. Don't comply. He said it's falsified and it just owns the territory of the earth. The evil that can only rule the earth. It has no jurisdiction outside of the earth. He says the media is rising. What do you want to say about the media rising? There's a shift again. And we have an update, renewal, or refresh, renew, refresh, revise, modernize, and inform. He said the media needs to shift. We need new media. Yeah, he said here the old guard, the old way. The legacy media is not the answer. They have to shift. They're compromised. So again, he's pointing out the media here needs to hit a refresh. They're outdated, they're stale. What else do you want to say? He said he was naive, but he observed something before he crossed over. He's talking about the moral decay of the world and behind the scenes. He's saying that these people are morally inept. They are morally corrupt. Anything else you want to say? He said they're being desperate here. Okay, we have passed over loved ones are watching over him. He's pointing out the law. He's desperate to get justice for himself energetically. He's pointing out the scientist, a satellite, an antenna. He's pointing out impunity and without consequences. He's saying that they're covering this up without consequences. He said something is being overlooked here, something that caused him discomfort. He's saying there are obstacles. He's saying that them granting permission is inconsequential. They don't have to grant permission. This is now being handled in the spiritual court, in the spiritual realm. Okay, let me clean these cards up and move on. I have one final deck here. Is there anything else you want to say, Nolan, when it comes to what happened to you? He said there was growing tensions. He said to establish a timeline. This is the same thing that came out in the reading I did for Nolan earlier about his autopsy. So there were growing tensions. He wants someone to go back and do the research. He's saying there's a trail of information that will let you know what happened to me and why. Because there's a timeline. He says there's photo or video evidence. He keeps saying this. But he's saying now it may be nowhere to be found. I said in an earlier reading, he said they were running out of time. There was a sense of urgency. Move quickly. Find it before they get rid of it. He said something is in a briefcase as well. Some luggage. Something got shipped off or burned. We have a criminal background and a family member showing up again. So he's pointing out the family members associated with whomever did this to him. What else do you want to say, Nolan? He said there are screenshots. And he's pointing out a power dynamic, circumstantial evidence, and he said something about someone being groomed. Child PDF file. That came out in one of his readings before. I don't know what that means. We have intimacy and we have a bruised ego. He rejected someone's advances. Something happened at night. He's saying whatever happened to him happened at night, and he was punished, and he wants a punishment for whomever hurt him. He wants swift justice. That came out in his other reading as well. He felt like he was an easy target and a sitting duck. That came out in his other reading as well. He said an eye for an eye, and he said the investigation has been botched. Let me check a few more cards, and I'll let you all go. Do you want to say anything about what happened to you or who did it? We have instant painless sudden death. Someone who felt like they were in his shadow and they felt second place to him. I don't think his death was instant. I think, and if it was, it's because he had blunt force trauma allegedly, and maybe he passed out so he didn't feel anything. But I feel he had a slow death. I feel like they tortured him. That's just my personal opinion. Anything else you want to say? He said there's a ringleader. And there's a digital footprint, browsing history, or online activity. This came out earlier. So again, he's saying check their phones before it's deleted, before it's erased, before it's no longer in the cloud. Sex tourism is here again in self-defense. I don't know if they were trying to traffic him. I don't know, but there's something here about this boat trying to get him maybe to a different location or something. I think he fought back. What else? Yes, he said an offer was rejected. And then we have a plea deal is on the table or taken. So there may be a plea deal in the future. What do you want to tell us about your individual friends? When it comes to your friends, Warren and all of the rest of them, I don't know everybody's name. What do you want to say about your friends? He said he had trouble breathing. He was suffocated or asphyxiated. He's pointing out the mama bear who's protecting her cubs. No justice, no peace. Karma never sleeps. He said that before. He said there's a hidden agenda with these friends. I hate to let his energy go because I feel like he has so much to say. He says the evidence was destroyed, y'all. There's a pregnancy announcement. Something's going on with the pregnancy. Now, there have been rumors, Nolan, that you were messing around. This sounds insane, but that you were having an affair with Warren's stepmother, the judge, Ashley Cole. Allegedly. This is not what I'm saying. This is what people are saying. Is there any truth to that? And that this could have been the cause of your demise? He says damage control. Injured. He was injured. Damage control. He took it to the grave. He'll never tell. And he said he was younger and it was business. Whoa. But he says it was overkill, a gruesome crime. They were being cautious? Okay. What are your feelings about Ashley Cole? How do you feel about Ashley Cole? He says she's following blindly, she's led astray, and she has cult-like thinking, or he was following her blindly and was led astray into cult-like thinking. What's going on here? He said he had bad vibes from her, and she has mob ties. Wow. Something about his hands. Or her hands. Maybe blood is on her hands, allegedly. Is she involved? He says she's cold-blooded. And he's pointing out grief here. So this is something that caused him grief. He maybe didn't see this coming. He said race play, fetishism, and a kink. What is going on in this reading? He said a bartender and spiked drink. Now, I'm not saying she spiked his drink, but maybe she did. But he's pointing out some race play, fetishism, and a kink, which is, those are sexual innuendos. There may be something to look into for that. We may do a different reading on that. Okay, when it comes to Katie, what do you have to say about Katie? He says she's being held against her will. She's a part of an organization, a tracking device or surveillance, and a man. There's a man associated with Katie that maybe took him against his will. That's a part of an organization. What is good? He's pointing out spiritual reparations and an alibi. So are you saying that Katie wasn't involved? He said she's the scapegoat, she's the fall guy, she's the martyr, she's the one to blame. So they're blaming her, but she's the fall guy. So no, it's not Katie. But is it someone connected to Katie, Nolan? He says a surprise witness steps forward. So that question will be answered in the future. Any other messages you have for your family and those in support of you, wanting justice for you? He said there's a victim impact statement. He had something recorded, his own word. He said, I spoke up for myself. It's recorded. He says this is a sensitive subject. He's still struggling with accepting his new reality. He said we are running out of time. But he said that there was a hostile exchange in fighting words between he and someone else. Someone with straight hair, blonde hair. Ooh. Someone that used deadly, excessive force, that overpowered him, surrounded him, and outnumbered him. I really don't want to let go of his energy because he's telling us so much. Is there anything else you want to say? Will there be justice in your case? He said his last known whereabouts hold the key. He said there was a struggle. The bro code. Covering for each other. Oh, they're covering for each other. He said that this was ceremonial, tribal, and offering was made or must be. So he's saying that this was some kind of ritualistic kill. In his reading, it was an initiation. It did come out as an initiation. Tell me when you want me to stop. What else do you want to say? He said this is a criminal enterprise and activity, and there's leaked or released footage that may come out. He said there will be a legal victory. What is this? Is this civil? He said someone is mentally ill. He says he wants payback because he was sacrificed. There's video footage. He keeps saying it. He's saying there's a piece of jewelry or a watch. Remember, I talked about the watch, the clocks before. That could be timing, or like I said in my previous reading that should have gone live earlier than this one. There was a piece of jewelry that he either took off of someone or he left behind as a clue. He left a paper trail. He left, not a paper trail, he left a breadcrumb trail. How can we get justice for you? He said someone that works at the hospital knows something. He's pointing out a press conference, a news media, and a narrative spin. So he's saying, keep on working the media in my favor. Someone from the hospital knows something. A medical. He said he was in a secluded area. He wants us to tell, it said, tell my story, tell my side of the story. There's controversy and mass hysteria and a bombshell discovery that will come out. Anything else you want to say, Nolan? He said charges are pending or forthcoming. I know that's right. Charges filed. He said someone is a spin doctor, a master illusionist, tampering with evidence, and he's disappointed by this. Nolan, is there anything that you want to say to your family in closing? I'm going to let your energy go after this. He wants vigilante justice. Wow, he's really angry about what happened to him. He says there's a third suspect, and we talked about this third suspect before. There's a main character here, a main player. There's a ringleader. There's someone else that follows behind everything that this ringleader does. And then there's a third person that never shows up in the cards. He's always kind of hidden, or she is always kind of hidden in the shadows. What do you want to say about the third suspect? When it comes to your family, he says they're taunting, and there are forensics to prove that they are involved. He may have fallen here. That could be how he hit his head as well. He's saying someone foreign could be connected here. He's pointing out deportation and extraditing. Now, that could be from one city to another city, one state to another state, one country to another country. He says that these people are corroborating each other's stories. Witness testimony. They all have the same story, but is it true? He says someone here has political ties. There's a cartel involved. There's something going on with a mob, a group of people here. Two more. He says there are false leads. They've been given on, put on a wild goose chase, and he said he's being dehumanized. And there's coercion going on behind the scenes, allegedly. All right, guys, like, subscribe, comment. I will see you in my next video.